true paranormal story.
Nobody's ever gonna believe this. What the heck did I just see? Started seeing ghosts when I was only 8 years old. I saw that boy disappear.
This isn't real. Welcome to The Raker'z Dozen. Welcome to another episode of The Raker'z Dozen, true paranormal stories. Hey guys, welcome back, and guess what? I have a pretty interesting story to share this week. How many of you have ever experienced something paranormal while on vacation? I think it's one thing to experience activity in your own home, but while out traveling, for some reason it just hits different. Maybe it's from being in an unfamiliar place, stress from traveling or whatever, but some places just have strange energy. So here's a story about a family trip we took to Big Bear, which left us confused and scared. And just as a reminder, if you have a story that you'd like to share, please email me at therakersdozen@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the show and follow us on our socials. Now let's get into it. It was 2017 and I'm married to my best friend, and now we're a blended family. I had an older son from a prior relationship, and she had kids from a prior marriage, and then we had our youngest son together. Life was pretty good, and so we planned a vacation trip to Big Bear for the kids. Now, if you don't know where Big Bear is, it's located in Southern California, and it had become a place our kids loved to visit every summer. I can't remember exactly if this trip was our second or third time visiting, but I do remember this trip I decided to book an upgraded cabin that was beautiful, with a pool table upstairs, a beautiful deck and backyard. You can tell they just refurnished this place, and man, it was amazing. We were so excited. But I should have known on the way up, this would be a trip to remember. So it was late August and at least 90 degrees on our way up the mountain when there was some type of accident. So we ended up getting stuck on the mountain for about 2.5 hours. No water, my AC wasn't working, the kids were upset and crying. It was good times. Have kids, they said. It'll be fun, they said. After what seemed like a lifetime, we eventually made it to the cabin. And honestly, I was just relieved we got there in one piece. Our youngest son, who was 3 at the time, was really throwing a fit. He was tired, cranky, and throwing himself on the floor. Poor little guy was just exhausted, hungry, and frustrated. But as we started unloading the car, I finally had enough of it and decided to put him on timeout. I used to do this in our home from time to time when he was throwing tantrums. The rest of the family continued unloading the car while I took our little guy inside and had him sit down to the left of the front door, close to the hallway that led to the bedrooms. Although I was frustrated with him, I tried to stay calm and I said, "Look, Papa, I need you to be a good boy, okay? Stay right here until we finish unpacking, and then I'll make you something to eat, okay? I'll make you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with the juice." He shook his head and said, "Okay, Daddy." I got up and went back outside. And while everyone was bringing in the luggage and groceries, I heard him scream. I dropped the bags and bolted into the cabin with my wife following right behind me. He was screaming hysterically as if somebody slapped him. It really startled me. We both frantically scrambled to pick him up, thinking maybe he somehow got hurt. What's wrong? What happened?" He clung to me, shaking. I looked at my wife, confused and now terrified. What the hell's going on? I thought. "Papa, what happened?" He stared into my eyes, afraid. Keep in mind, he's only 3 years old. But he looked over his left shoulder, trembling, almost terrified to look down the hallway. As he was shaking, he started pointing and said, "The skeleton man. The skeleton man, Daddy." My wife and I look at each other confused. "Who's the skeleton man?" I asked. And he just points down the hallway, terrified. Did he go down the hallway? And he shook his head, yes. He was still crying out of fear, My heart rate started pumping, and my fatherly instincts kicked in to protect my kids. I jumped up and I decided I was going to investigate the rooms. Keep in mind, we literally just walked in, so no one had even looked around the cabin or any of the rooms. So I slowly started searching each room at a time, making sure no one was hiding in any of the rooms. Hello? 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 Who's there? Who's there? Who's there? Show yourself. Show yourself. Show yourself. Not gonna lie, my heart was pounding in my chest. I really thought someone might be in the house. If you know, California squatters are real. I finished checking all the rooms and the bathrooms, but I didn't find anyone. When I came back to the living room, our son had calmed down and the other kids were asking questions about what happened. I just said, "Hey guys, your little brother just got scared, but he's okay. Why don't you guys go put your stuff away in the rooms and check out the game room upstairs?" The moment I said game room, they all ran upstairs and completely forgot about what just happened. I looked at my wife, and we both had that "what the fuck is happening" look on our faces. But we both knew something was here. We both felt it. My only thought was, do you know how much I paid for this fucking cabin? And now we have a skeleton man walking around. What next? The rest of the day was fine. We hung out, barbecued, played games with the kids, and really had fun with them. I remember we sat out on the patio and just enjoyed the view. Kind of forgot about what happened earlier in the day. But later that night, Later that night we were in bed, we started talking about what happened. We both knew our little guy had never reacted like that before. And honestly, I didn't even know he knew the word skeleton. She asked me, "What do you think happened?" I'm not really sure, but he definitely saw something. And I know he can sense and see things ever since he was a baby. I just never seen him react out of fear. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know. Just then we heard a loud thud in the hallway. We both sat up in bed. I mean, it sounded like some type of heavy bag or something. I immediately thought it sounded like a military duffel bag, and then we heard it start to drag slowly towards the living room for about 10 seconds. We both looked at each other, terrified. "It's probably the kids." I looked at her like she lost her damn mind. We both knew it wasn't the kids. But I guess at the moment we both were just trying to rationalize it. First our son sees a skeleton man, and now it sounds like someone's dragging a dead body down the hallway. Did we rent the fucking Amityville house? I thought. "Go see what it is," she said. I nodded my head, got up slowly, started looking for anything I could use as a weapon. And I remember I had a knife in my pants pocket, which were laying near the bed. So I grabbed it. By now that dragging sound was in the living room, and I opened the door slowly, and it was pitch black. I could see some light coming in from the living room front windows and the kitchen, but looking down the hallway, the kids' rooms were closed. I slowly started creeping down the hallway and noticed as I walked on the wood floors, the creaking was loud. But we didn't hear the wood creaking while something was being dragged down the hallway. I slowly turned the corner and glanced into the living room, then looked to the left, which was the kitchen. Nothing. Started looking around for the light to turn on. And now that I could see, I looked around the cabin, checked all the doors, and everything was fine. I turned off the lights and walked back to check on the kids. I opened their doors, and they were all asleep. My oldest son woke up. "What's going on, Dad?" "Nothing, everything's okay. I was just checking in on you guys. I thought I heard you guys talking in here, but it was probably the neighbors." He just shook his head and laid back down. I walked back into the bedroom and got in the bed. What happened? Nothing. There wasn't anything out there and the kids are all asleep. I'm scared, she said. I didn't tell her then, but I could be honest about it now. I was scared. I was scared shitless. The thought of an intruder while my family was here is scary enough, and I was willing to do whatever it took to protect them. But a haunted cabin? The fuck am I supposed to do then? I guess the only thing I knew how in the moment. I prayed. We eventually fell back to sleep. The next morning, the kids got up and everyone was excited for the day. They were already in the living room hanging out and talking about the trip. My wife got up and went to the kitchen to start breakfast. Our little guy was still asleep, so I woke him up, and he was happy, all smiles, and he hugged me. So I picked him up and carried him in my left arm. And just as we walked out of the bedroom into the hallway, I felt him shaking. I stopped and looked at his face. He was staring out towards the kitchen. What's wrong? What do you see? He lifts his little finger and points to the kitchen. The skeleton man, Daddy. The skeleton man, Daddy. The skeleton man, Daddy. I always knew my son could see things. I sometimes found him staring at the walls, laughing, smiling, or pointing. I mean, if I could see things just like many of my family members can, I knew there's a chance that he'd be able to as well. But seeing him terrified brought back a lot of memories of my first experiences as a child, and that really pissed me off. While the kids were eating breakfast, I walked back into the hallway and did my usual ritual to try and protect my kids and asking the spirit to leave kindly. Sometimes sugar works better than vinegar. And the rest of the trip, we didn't have any more experiences. Well, at least on that trip. I don't think I'll ever be able to erase the look of terror in my son's eyes from my memory. I just hope he doesn't experience things like I do. Being a dad changes things, and I'll fiercely protect them against the natural and supernatural with everything I have inside. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Raker'z Dozen True Paranormal Stories. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And don't forget, if you have a story that you'd like to share, please email me at therakersdozen@gmail.com or head over to our Reddit and share your story there. I'm patiently waiting for submissions because I want to share your story. Make sure to follow us on all our socials for updates, upcoming episodes, and all that kind of stuff. Thanks for taking a trip down this paranormal plane.